Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into this webcast with the amazing Katrina Southey. She's a CMO at FITR. We're allowed to call her Kat for this webcast. So what we wanted to do is talk about the amazing part of our industry, which is about personal training online. Now, I know that a lot of you have dabbled in it. Certainly in COVID times, a lot of people sort of put themselves online, certainly Group X, we all had to go online. But I feel that a lot of people have dabbled and want to know more to make it truly successful. And one of the things I see in loads of Facebook groups and stuff is people coming into the industry, the first question they're asking is, how do I get started online? So guess what? That's why we brought Kat on to talk about it. So Kat, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
That's a pleasure. So I'm going to pose a few questions to you that I think are really going to help reassure people. So this is a sort of a compelling part of our industry. So shall we go with the first question?
Let's go.
Let's do it. So real simple one. What are the benefits to the PT of going online, but also the benefits for the client? Over to you.
For the PT, firstly, the biggest thing I think is expanding the amount of time that they have in their lives. Obviously, if you work 8-hour days, 5 to 7 days a week, there's only so much you can fit into that time, so many client appointments you can fit in. But if you add online to that, you can reach more people more quickly. You don't have to kind of dart between where all of them live. You can speak to them in real time without having to get yourself there, cart around all your kit, and all of that. So just it breaks down those geographical boundaries and allows you to be more efficient. I think that's the biggest thing. And in turn, that obviously allows you to increase your revenue. And for both sides, for the coach and for the client, it's pure convenience. Life's different now, isn't it? People aren't in the same place at the same time all the time anymore. People are moving out of cities, they're deep in the countryside. But the one thing that everyone has in common, or most people that our coaches deal with anyway, have an internet connection. So you can reach all these people, you can train or be trained at a time that suits you and fits into your life and the time that you have available. So I think that's the main thing is reducing time and space and increasing the ability to help more people more quickly.
Absolutely. And you know, you can reach people globally, can't you? It's so exciting how many lives that you can affect. And the PT could be traveling the world or on holiday and still connecting with clients. Very exciting. Yeah.
And the clients can too, obviously. So just because the client's moved away, it doesn't mean they have to stop being your client. And you know, if they're not coming into the city 5 days a week, you can see them 2 days while they're in the city, and you can give them sessions to work on at home whilst they're on holiday.
Love that. So a lot of the time people have sort of almost said some barriers to getting online. And I think probably the main two things is about this ability to truly connect. Right, we know how connection is so very important. You know, that's probably one thing PTs are concerned about, but also a lot of PTs really pride themselves on their ability to coach in a one-to-one, face-to-face environment. And that's the skills they've typically learned in their education. So can you just talk on that, the connection and coaching?
Yeah. I think firstly, I completely understand the feeling behind that. I've done coaching qualifications and I've been coached in the past as well. I know how important that is. I think technology has moved on so much that the ability to drive connection is so much more enhanced than it used to be. Also, it's important to note that it doesn't have to be only online. Lots of our really successful coaches do see their clients in person as well, and they offer kind of a hybrid combination of the two things. So they do have that kind of rapport and that relationship and that close connection. And while they're not with the client, they've also got that direct access to them and their training and their nutrition, whatever they might be coaching on. But in terms of how you do it digitally, software these days gives so much opportunity to be connected and personable. So including videos in programming, for example, is a really good way of doing that. Some of our coaches will do a video at the beginning of every training day to kind of set the tone for the day or the session. They include demo videos as well, like how to do something. In turn, the clients can upload videos of them doing whatever the movement is so that the coach can then critique that and give feedback on it. And all of that can be tracked as well. And this is one of the great things about adding an online stream to your coaching, whether you're in person or online or both, is the ability to have a digital track of that progress. Obviously in person, you can praise somebody, or you can note down, you know, how their range is improving or how their weights are improving. But it's really compelling for a client to see a graph that goes like this, or indeed one that goes like that, because that's going to get them to pull their socks up and do something about it. But it's just so compelling to see, like, this was my back squat 3 months ago, and this is what it looked like. You attach a video and the coach can be giving comments about improving the form on that. And then in 3 months' time, this is now what my back squat looks like, and this is how the number has gone up as well of what I'm lifting. And then the coach is diving in to give praise for that accolade. Obviously, for a coach, the connection and the rapport is important, but also delivering results is super important, isn't it? Because that's why the client's going to stay with you, is because they're doing really well as a result of your coaching.
Yeah.
And so doing stuff online gives them a real digital proof that their relationship with you is working.
Yeah.
So even if somebody's seeing you only in person, you can track all of that digitally and be showing them, and it's a really good tool to have.
That's powerful, actually, isn't it? Obviously, you having worked in the fitness industry, me having worked in the fitness industry, maybe people listening to this are in the industry or about to step into it with the idea that, you know, they see themselves being this online coach. So, okay, so how easy is it to get started? And, you know, is it for everyone?
I would argue it can be. I think a lot of people, as in it can be for everyone, I think a lot of people are put off because they think they have to be really technical to go online. And actually, again, with software now, but particularly FITR, it's built in a very simple way so that everything is already set up for you. You just have to kind of put things in boxes. So you're doing it anyway, you know, as a coach, you're prepping your sessions, you're programming, you're planning. It's just a case of just putting that on the computer. And then everything else is automated for you. So you really don't need to be a technical whiz to make it work. Something I always say to coaches as well is, like, genuinely, why not? Like, why would you not try to add something additional to your armory? Even if you love the in-person coaching side of things, you love darting around and coaching lots of different types of people and seeing them face to face, that's brilliant. But the thing is, like, you've created loads of really valuable programming that could benefit more people than you're able to see. So why would you not make that available to help more people improve their lives too?
Yeah.
I think lots of coaches are concerned that it will take away from their integrity as a coach because they're not with that person. But I kind of view it a bit differently. Like, you would be able to help 50 people instead of one person. You know, why would you not want to do that? I think the main reason that we're all in this industry is we want people to become better versions of themselves. We want them to live longer and move better. And this kind of online platform allows you to, where you're going to be more than one person in many places all at the same time. Also the ability to personalize the same programming for lots of different people saves a lot of time, and is kind of a really simple concept, I think, for coaches to get on board with, that you could have, or most coaches as well would have, a type of client that they typically seem to train, you know, based on what their specialism is or their personal interest. So if you've got a population that you're applicable to, chances are the same type of program would be relevant for more than one person.
Sure.
So we use something called personal records that allows coaches to set weights, speeds, range, etc., down to the individual, all in the same program. So instead of saying everyone's doing 100 kilo deadlift today, everyone's doing 70% of their personal record today. So mine might be 50 kilos, yours might be 80. But everyone will be following the same program, but you're able to do the weight that is suitable for you.
Nice.
So again, kind of I think coaches worry about doing a bit of a cookie cutter approach, when actually I view it as them just being more efficient with the work that they do and use it in more places, as I say, to help more people.
Yeah, love it. That personalization is really important, isn't it? Really, really important. And I heard you touch on the sort of you know, the tech savvy side, and that's one of the questions I wanted to explore with you. Like, you know, a lot of the time, you know, it's unless someone's got their hands on it or seen it in operation, there's a sort of fear that it's going to be a lot to have to, you know, there's going to be a lot of investment in time initially. It's going to be glitchy and you know, it's difficult to set up. And I think that is a genuine fear that, you know, oh, how tech savvy do I need to be? You touched on how, you know, for your software, how almost simple it is. And I think that kind of leads me on to the also for the client. A lot of us may feel as PTs, oh, my client won't want to work online, you know, they won't know how to set up this app, or, you know, and stuff like that. So I guess I just wanted you to talk about that kind of genuine fear of, you know, oh gosh, this is more tech. I mean, we know that a lot of people got more online over COVID just because they were doing their family quizzes and Zoom and, you know, all those wonderful moments. But yeah, can you talk on that sort of genuine fear? You know, we're talking about this compelling place, this, you know, ability to train more people, but I'm a bit worried that I don't really know how to get it working. My clients are going to be resistant and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I do totally understand that too. And I think the main thing is, if you don't try something, then you won't ever master it, will you? Yeah. So we offer a free trial so that coaches can play with the software without, there's no credit card or anything like that. People can play with the software first to really kind of get a handle on it. We have live chat, which connects to real people. We have demo videos, help centers. Like the benefit of using someone else's software and not making one yourself, which is actually very scary and very expensive. The benefit is that there's someone else is doing all that work for you. So you don't have to be a coder. You don't have to, like, if there is a bug, you don't have to fix it. You just have to tell us that it needs fixing. There aren't any bugs, by the way. But it's not as intimidating, I think, as people think. It's just the internet, you know. It's literally a web application that you input your information on, and you can also set yourself up as a client as well, so that you can see the client experience and what they would see. I think that's the best way to kind of alleviate any concerns, because like honestly, I really completely understand that delivering, like when you're a coach, like it's completely your responsibility to deliver that really high quality customer service, and that's what brings clients back and, you know, gets you referrals to other clients, and you are the face of your business. I understand that's really important, and that's why we put so much emphasis into the development and this ease and simplicity of the product as well, because we take it really seriously, like the responsibility of becoming that for a coach online. Like our app becomes the customer experience for them, and we know, like, we hold the weight of that responsibility really carefully. So I would suggest, you know, with any nerves, just try. It's not going to cost you anything, except a little bit of time, and play around with it. I think there will be obviously certain populations that aren't suitable for online training. You know, my mum, for example, you know, wouldn't be a great. She's in late 70s. She does all right on emails and Facebook and stuff like that. But I think, I mean, to be honest, she probably wouldn't follow a program anyway. But if you were lucky enough to have someone invested in their health and fitness at that age, maybe it wouldn't be suitable. However, as I said before about people that you train in person and having that digital element, you could still be inputting their results. Like, you probably input them anyway into a spreadsheet or into your notebook or something like that. If you were to input that into FITR or into an app, you could still get those graphs and be tracking that progress. And that really helps them, as I said, with motivation, but also helps you with planning the next stage programming for them, or, you know, figuring out what the next thing for them is to do. So it's kind of a tool for you as well as a tool for them. And even if they're not actively following it in there, it's still really beneficial, I would say.
Yeah. So, like, let's say we're trying to market to people, right? And sell this I guess service, you know, of you being online, right? And okay, I think one of the things is, if somebody's a bit nervous because they don't feel very tech savvy, let's say they're now worried they've now got to start, you know, marketing themselves online. Does it only have to be online that they market themselves, or can you suggest there's other ways that they might be able to reach out to more people about this service?
I always feel like this is the worst bit about being a PT, isn't it? Is finding clients, because you've got this great skill set, this great kind of aptitude for wanting to help people, great skills that you need to be able to pass on, but it's a completely different thing to sell yourself. And, you know, in the past, before we had kind of software and stuff, like just only having the option of walking the gym floor and approaching someone that was busy doing whatever they were doing in the first place, it's just, would personally fill me with absolute dread. So I totally get it. The benefit, obviously, of having an online arm is that you can do it a bit more covertly if you want to. So you can obviously be running things through your Instagram channels and pushing out content about, you know, your specialism, or putting out videos about your own training or your own interests. However, that's also not for everyone. You know, it's not everyone wants to get on camera. Lots of people feel really awkward about you know, doing face videos like of themselves. Or I personally, again, couldn't manage that. I don't think. I'm a bit too introverted. It's not for everyone, and you're absolutely right when you're insinuating it doesn't have to all be online. For me, it's exactly the same, whether you're online or in person. The best kind of referrals are between people that you know, people that you coach, referring you to their friends or family, of which now, if you've got an online arm, you can coach Auntie Sue that lives in Leeds, or you can coach a small group training, perhaps, like a group of friends that want to follow the same program at the same time, for example. You could have leaderboards where they put their scores against each other. It'd be really quite compelling and motivating for them. So it's still, I would argue, really important, you know, how you come across in real life and how you network in real life. And just because the person is coached online, it doesn't mean that's where you need to find them.
No. It's it leads me to my next question, and I want to just come back to the thing where, you know, we used to have work, we have to walk around the gym floor connecting with clients and potential, you know, I learned that very early on because I was a gym instructor, you know, and you were just sort of hanging around the gym and cleaning and this, that and the other, and that got me just doing it, rather than the pressure of having to find clients. And it is a big thing. It is a big thing, and a really genuine fear. Where are all these clients I thought I was going to land? But the fact that you can connect with a wider audience and not have to travel, you know, 55 billion miles to reach them, you know, is an amazing thing. And that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, that, you know, that finding clients and stuff, and maybe some people's perception of what you need to be like online. Like, I heard you describe yourself as introverted. I describe myself as introverted or ambivert, you know, where but actually I'm really good at connecting with people. You can be introverted but know how you connect. It's a skill that we learn, right? And but one of the things I have seen online is that sometimes people then suddenly feel they've got to be like a presenter, which is a very different experience, isn't it? And so I wanted to get your take on how you feel someone can shine authentically without falling into this trap of being like, I'm presenting on screen. I don't know why I sang that to you, Kat.
What's the next line?
No, you can sing it if you like.
I just think the main thing in life or online is just to try and be as genuine as possible, because the more genuine you are, the more genuine clients you're going to get, because they're identifying with who you actually are and the service that you're actually going to give. I think a lot of coaches actually, I don't know if you think this too, but I think a lot of coaches are actually quite put off by the ones that are online, sort of all bells and whistles and fanfares, because they I think one of the reasons why some people are put off by the online space is because they think that that's not authentic, or that isn't taking coaching seriously, you know, for which, you know, lots of coaches have spent a lot of time and a lot of money getting qualified for a very professional and valuable career. So I think that's why they think, oh, I'm not going to go online because I'm not, you know, like that, and I'm qualified. But actually, some of our most successful coaches have a few thousand followers, not thousand, like, you know, not like 100,000. They have like 8 to 10,000 followers, which is a lot. Like, I'm not saying it isn't, but it's not like the massive Instagram influencers that you see. But they run incredibly successful businesses because they are really, really authentic, and they kind of spend a lot of time explaining their approach to training and explaining why some of the like fads or, you know, things at the moment aren't kind of the right thing to be doing. Some really great examples, I always give these, but Harvey Lawton, that runs the Movement Blueprint, is a really great example of that. He's just 100% authentic. He's obviously incredibly well informed, obviously a brilliant coach. He coaches coaches as well. He runs lots of different types of programming for lots of different types of people. He's just really, really genuine, and really well respected. So just because you're online, it doesn't mean you can't also hold that kind of gravitas and that respect in the coaching community, like he does, you know.
I love that, Kat, and I think one of the things that always, you know, speaks important to me is connection. Is done in that sort of genuine space, isn't it? And if you're putting on a show, I mean, I've presented, but I've presented as a version of myself, and clearly I'm quite an excitable person, and but
great energy.
but I've always, you know, know my staff, been very practiced and taken it very, very seriously. This is how I am in life. So I haven't put on, if I've been up on stage, I haven't been mucking about because I think that's what, you know, I should do. It's mucking about, I mean being playful, sorry, you know what I mean. I've done that because that's who I am. If you see me, you know, in everyday life, it's just an extension of that, because I think one of the things that we know is that's the best place. If people know it's just you, they can be themselves. But I think one of the things that's very important for any coach is remembering that if you're not being you, it's exhausting. It is, then you are putting on a show. And I think, you know, the examples of, you know, professionalism and, you know, being respected for your craft, you know, as you said, PTs have invested a lot of time, a lot of money, and have a genuine desire to help people. They can really authentically be themselves, and, you know, have this beautiful service for a whole host of people. It's an exciting space to be in, isn't it? I think it's, you know, really important. So I guess if I sort of say about, you know, I think we've all fallen into traps, you know, in our careers, and then, you know, with a bit of wisdom gone, you know, and I certainly, you know, have done that and grown, and, you know, I now feel very authentically me and stay in my lane, and, you know, not try and do everything and stuff. And I guess it would be interesting to ask you, maybe, you know, with a, you know, a kindness and understanding, because this is what's coming across from you, you know, maybe some common mistakes, pitfalls that you feel that some people could end up sort of doing online, and maybe how to avoid them. Maybe sometimes this can be through your own experience, or indeed, you know, with a bit of hindsight of when we first stepped online to now, with, you know, years of experience, you know, what to avoid. Yeah, maybe some common mistakes and pitfalls. Yeah,
I think two spring to mind immediately. The first one, I think, again, is probably very similar to in real life as well, where you think, if I build it, they will come. So same as becoming a trainer and then just standing in the gym thinking, right, I'm ready for my clients now. It's the same as online, you know, I've set up all my programs, I've got my storefront all set up. You know, why aren't I earning any money? Where are the clients? So that's kind of, I think, one of the big pitfalls. Unfortunately, you know, we provide a vehicle for people to coach online, but we don't get the clients for the coach. So there is still, you know, there needs to be a plan for how this is going to happen. And I would suggest for coaches thinking about it that they would start with the clients that they have in real life. Start off with those, maybe, you know, a handful of one-to-ones, and get them using the system, so that firstly everyone gets used to it and everyone knows what they're doing, and then secondly, as I say, utilizing that programming to expand and offer it to more people. The second one is, it's around pricing, you know. So I find this with coaches too, and this is your experience, but as we just said, like, coaches spend a lot of time and money and effort becoming skilled specialists in whatever type of coaching they deliver. But I feel like there's also almost like a reticence to charge for that service. And really, I really feel like coaches shouldn't be quite so apologetic about earning money from what they do for a job. And particularly now as well, I mean, this could be a whole other call, probably with someone else that's more qualified than me to talk about it, but I know that often is the case that coaches and PTs are incredibly undervalued in terms of what they deliver to people's lives, because they're paying ground rent, or they're having to give away a portion of their hourly wage, etc. But coming online, like, I feel one of the mistakes is being a bit too apologetic about earning money, so not charging enough for what they're selling. The beauty of going online is that, as well, as you can charge a range of prices for different levels of coaching as well. So you could do like a really low cost one-off price to kind of get people, it'll give people a taster of your service, or to put them on a quick fix program, you know, 8 weeks getting ready for your summer holiday, for example, to get them bought into you. And then you can charge a bit more for maybe a group program where people are following the same thing, but it's still individualized to everybody following it. But you're going to kind of check in with them every now and again, not every day maybe. So you'll charge like a middle level for that.
Yes.
And then obviously the top tier for your one-to-ones, you may see them in person and online, or you may only have them online. But if you're programming specifically for an individual, you might also be looking at nutrition, you might be communicating with them every day, you might be commenting on their form, uploading extra videos for them. You know, this is all worth money. You know, people need to charge what they are worth, and just because it's not in person, it doesn't mean that they can't make some good money from that.
Two really important things.
Mm.
Very important. Yeah, I when you said build it in a, you know, they'll come, I sort of like, I was just thinking of that moment. So I have two children, one of them I had at a hospital and one at home, and I remember bringing my baby back, you know, in his little chair and putting him down on the floor, and it's like, now what? You know, I mean, even
I can't believe they've let me take this home.
I know. Yeah. So when you said that, just really made me laugh, because it just made me think of that experience of like, everything was prepared. I thought, but it was this moment of like, oh, now what? And I think that's what happens with personal trainers. And I think this is why it's such an important webcast to be talking about this introduction to personal training. It's like, now what? You know, how do I get started? And it's a very, you know, I don't think this comes from arrogance or like, well, they're all going to come and see me. I just think that, you know, sometimes getting into the industry, you just think there's going to be loads of people wanting your services, but maybe they haven't seen you do enough, that, you know, that you haven't connected with them, you haven't reached out to them. They're not all just going to come knocking on your door. It is a big thing, a reality, you know, a realism for a lot of personal trainers that they're not there, you know, these clients. So yeah, absolutely. And reaching online is an exciting space. And obviously we know that some clients cannot get into the gyms or cannot access them or don't want to. And this is maybe a place where some of our clients might feel safe to start exploring a relationship, a rapport with that personal trainer, and may never be able to venture into the gym space, but may also. So I think it's a really lovely thing that we can tap into some people that perhaps have felt that they've just not wanted to be part of that space, that movement and stuff.
That's a really good point, actually. Like when, so I used to work at Virgin Active, and we had, as with all of the gyms, they have an issue with churn because, you know, people come in and they're intimidated, or they don't know what to do, or they're worried about a PT coming to try and sell to them when they're working out. And yeah, you're right, that it unlocks the opportunity for these people. Yeah, you're right, to experience coaching. And also, don't forget, not everyone can afford that as well. You know, people can't always afford a Virgin Active membership, or afford the time, as you say, to get out into those spaces. So by maybe selling or programming for groups at a slightly lower price point to get less money per person, but exponentially more over time because you've got more people, then it allows more people the opportunity to train as well, that maybe, as you say, we wouldn't be able to either get there or afford it otherwise. Yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah. So let's finish off with maybe some successes that you've seen. You've obviously, you know, had your own experiences with FITR, and you already, you know, talked about one of the coaches. But can you talk about any of the other successes, or just, you know, I often find the things that spring into mind are the most, you know, will resonate the most. So is there anything that you can talk about on successes that you've seen with your coaches, or, you know, transitioning online?
So I always mention Harvey just because I think he's such a great coach and great example. But another one that I always reference is a guy called Sam Perry. He works for APX or Apex, maybe you say it. Anyway, he is a brilliant success story, because when he first started with us, he was just a young lad working out of a gym, had a handful of clients, started trying out online. But he's another one that is just really authentically himself over Instagram. He got enough clients over time that he was then didn't have to work in the gym anymore. He then employed other coaches to come and help, because he was getting so much interest that he needed other coaches then to support him. And now he gets to work really flexibly, as you said earlier, like sometimes jetting off to Bali with his girlfriend, I think he's just got back from. He does see people in line. He does a lot of his own training, which is obviously also really important to a lot of our coaches, is their own training and their own kind of fitness journey. And so he now has space for that. He coaches really authentically as well. So he doesn't just kind of set programs off and let them run. He's like really engaged with his clients, and commenting on their form and sharing their successes as well on his social channels. Really lovely example. The Ultimate You as well, they're really lovely group of coaches now as well, but started off I think with Tom and Courtney, a couple that have jetted off to Bali and lived there for 6 months, I think returning to the UK soon, but just given them the flexibility to live their best lives, which is absolutely what they're doing. There's others that are doing it, juggling parenthood with their careers, which is really lovely. We see lots of really empowering stories from women coming up through the community, which obviously is a real interest. But I feel personally proud to be able to facilitate that for female coaches, which are so often underrepresented as well.
Yeah.
So many, as I say, because we are real people behind our live chats and behind the emails and things like that, we actually really get to know like who all of our coaches are. And it's so lovely to be able to help them on their journeys.
Absolutely. And it sounds so wonderful, doesn't it, being able to sort of incorporate real life, or traveling, and all because they found sort of an avenue to still, and you're saying that they're coaching at a really high standard, authentically being themselves. I mean, I can't think of a more lovely thing than that, to find a job that, I mean, I say find a job. I've never really thought as being a job, finding something that you do that also means that you can facilitate your life, pay for things, but that it's super rewarding because you get to connect with so many people and affect so many people's lives. It's just an exciting avenue that certainly when I got into the industry wasn't available. I mean, it's just amazing that so many people can tap into it. So I think what I'd love to do is just ask you to comment on maybe the person who's listened into this, who's still a little reticent, a little nervous, a little, it's not for me. No, it's going to be too much. No, I'm happy with what I'm doing. If you've got any last sort of words to maybe coax them into trying it.
I think, obviously, as I said earlier, there really is nothing to lose by having a look. To be honest, you're doing the work anyway. You're programming for clients, you're thinking about how to deliver your service, you're being a certain type of coach to a certain type of people. It's just like getting it down on paper, except you don't need a pen.
So really just give it a go. And you were kind enough to say earlier about people giving it a go with no obligation. So can you just talk on that, what that actually looks like for people listening in and want to give FITR a try?
Yeah, so at FITR we give a 14-day free trial to everyone, and that trial it gives access to our top tier subscription type. So it lets you play with absolutely every feature that we have, and that goes up as far as something that we call white label, which is like completely personalizing the app for your own colors and logos. So take off all the fitter ones and put all of your own on. And it means that you can do anything that you want in the system during that time.
Yeah.
As I said, we're on hand on live chat during that time. Whole bunch of demo videos, help desk, great customer support team. So this really is nothing to lose, as I say. If 14 days isn't enough as well, we're super flexible. You know, if someone gets in touch and says, it's been one of those weeks, I haven't had time, we just extend it. You know, we totally understand. I think, again, we are real people with a real kind of passion and interest for this industry. So we get it. You know, if you don't have time, we'll just extend it, or we'll reactivate it in a month, whenever works. But I really would suggest expanding your horizons and your opportunities to unapologetically make more money so that you can do more things that you love in your real life. You know, it's really worth a shot.
I think so. Lovely last words, Kat. Thank you so much. I think it's the first time I spoke to you, it was very, very clear that you know, being in the industry and have a true passion for it. And I think that always resonates with me. And I think, you know, I mean, I work in marketing now, and, you know, and source education and stuff. And that comes from a genuine love of the industry that I work in. And it's very clear that you share those same thoughts. So it's been an absolute delight to chat to you. And I know we're going to get you back on again to explore this in much more detail. But, you know, as a starting piece to hope that people, you know, will explore, you know, this was about introducing personal training online, and I think you smashed it. So thank you so much, Kat.
My pleasure, honestly. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, it's really, really lovely to chat to you. And I'd just like for you to say where they can follow you personally, if you'd like to, and also where they would like, you know, where they can check out FITR, please.
Great, yeah. So, I mean, you're very welcome to follow me, but I don't think you'll find it very interesting. Perhaps on LinkedIn might be more interesting. Yes. Either way, it's K_Southey on Instagram, or it's Katrina Southey, Katrina with a K, Southey on LinkedIn. And for FITR, the best place for really regular updates is our Instagram channel, which is FITR.app. But we also have LinkedIn. Our website is get.fitter.training.
Kat, thank you so much. And any last words to our amazing FitPro audience that have been listening into you?
Good luck with the trial you're about to set up. Give us a yell if you have any questions, and I hope to see you soon.
Oh, that's amazing. Kat, we'll sign out. We need to obviously do a cheesy wave, because I think that's really important that we do.
Well, I think a gun show or something.
Oh, gun show. Oh my God, that's so much better. Why didn't I think of that?
Why have I got sleeves on?
Yeah, we were talking about the fact that it was actually summer earlier, and we're still in like long sleeves. Kat, thank you so much. FitPro audience, thanks for tuning in. If you're not part of the FitPro audience and this is your first time listening into one of these webcasts, because we were talking about, you know, an introduction to personal training, what a pleasure to have you listening, and hopefully we can be of service to you on a very long career. Thanks so much, Kat. Bye.
Speak soon. Bye.